Most vehicles have a service manual, something put together by third parties working with the manufacturer. It walks you through every part, every system, so you know how to keep it running. But in Star Citizen, you're on your own. So I made one. Hey friend, I'm Dusty Star and I'm glad you're here. Grab a drink, grab a snack. We're going to take a close, honest look at the Drake Golem together. She's a tough little starter, sure, but when I first saw her, I wasn't sure she could do much more than mine rocks. I'm not claiming to have all the answers. I'm just going with my gut, making a few upgrades, and seeing for myself what this little ship can really do. Stick around, because I picked up a simple bounty that turned into a dogfight against multiple ships. I didn't think the Golem would make it out, but what actually happened still has me thinking. Originally released in 2955, the Golem was Drake's answer to the surge of solo prospectors. It's stripped down to the essentials, but built with intent. No bed, no head, no stretch space. This isn't a ship you live in, it's a ship you work in. Out of the box, she'll fly fine, but under pressure, when you're pushing shields and guns, the stock systems show their limits. That's why we're looking at upgrades, so she can hold her own when it matters. And later, I'll show you what happened when we push those upgrades past their limits. One of the tests didn't go as planned. Alright, here's the full layout. Your power plant, coolers, shields, and quantum drive are all tucked behind the ore pods. Everything is tight but tidy. Drake didn't waste an inch, but once you learn the layout, it all makes sense. Let's dive into the upgrades and see if a few changes can make a real difference. And I'll be honest, one of these choices had me second guessing myself mid-mission. It's time to tear her down piece by piece. First step, we'll need to remove the ore pods. They're blocking access to the bays. Once they're out, we've got clear access. Fuse panel up front, coolers and power plants off to the sides, shields and drives tucked up top. Quick note before we dig in. After the 4.0 patch, Stanton's shop stopped selling military and stealth components. That stuff's still out there, but if you want it, you've got to loot it from bunkers, wrecks, or PvP zones. And that ain't always easy. So for this build, I went with the best components you can buy straight up at local shops. Just real upgrades anyone can track down. I selected the top 3 components in each category, so let's get started. Alright, first upgrade, the power plant. The Fortitude gives you 15 power segments, just enough to run the stock gear. But once you start boosting shields and weapons together, you'll feel it start to strain. The Breton only gives you 1 extra segment, but it's built tougher. Almost 1,000 hit points versus 700 on the stock unit. That matters because if someone targets your power plant and it pops, that's it, ship's done. Lumicore puts out even more juice, but it's fragile. And in a ship this size, I'm not looking to gamble on paper-thin components. I went with the Breton. Solid performance, more durable, and it won't fold when you need it most. Next up, coolers. Coolers don't do much in the current build of the game. You can actually run them at 1 power segment with no real penalty. But if you're getting shot at, they can still be destroyed, so durability matters. Ultraflow has better hit points than stock, and since we're already under the hood, we may as well swap it. Zero Rush cools a little faster, but it's made of paper. I went with Ultraflow, just in case coolers start to matter more down the line. On to shields. The Targa regenerates fast, faster than most in its class, and that's huge for a ship like the Golem. It's got a slightly bigger shield pool too, but here's the trade. It's got the weakest component HP out of the 3 we looked at, and if it gets targeted directly, it's going down fast. Palisade is tougher, no doubt, but I went with the Targa anyway because in most fights, regeneration and uptime matter more than raw durability. We're playing with defense through speed and recharge, not by tanking hits. Now the Quantum Drive. The Goliath is the stock drive, and it's a slug. Long cooldown time, slow spool speed, and not much durability. If you're trying to escape a fight or make quick jumps, it holds you back. The Atlas is faster, tougher, and gives you a better range too. It's not the best in every category, but it's solid where it counts, and that's why I picked it. Next, guns. The Bulldogs are fine if you're flying conservative. Low heat, decent fire rate, and they don't drain your capacitor too fast, but they don't hit hard enough to end a fight quickly. I swapped to Attrition 1. They hit way harder, especially against shields, and their sustained DPS gives you a better chance in fast skirmishes. Downside, they generate a lot more heat and chew up your capacitor faster, but with a good power plant behind them, you'll feel the difference. They're aggressive, but that's what I was going for. Last upgrade, missiles. Missiles are limited on the Golem, just 2, but those 2 can still change the fight if you use them right. The stock Spark 1s are okay, but they don't hit that hard. I swapped to Arrow 1s. They're high impact infrared seekers with a decent lock time and a much bigger punch. They're also Vanduul made. It feels a little strange flying into battle with alien tech, but if it works, it works. They can still miss, especially if the target pops countermeasures or if you fire them from too far away. But if you fire close and fast, they'll make an impression. Just don't rely on them as your opener. Save them for when you know they'll count. Before I took her out to mine, I had one last stop, MIC L2. Time to install some mining laser modules to improve our chances of making some money. The Golem ships with a Pitman bespoke mining head, Drake's own design. It's rugged, well balanced, and makes a solid base for modular upgrades. We slotted in 2 modules. First, the Focus 3 from Thermite Concern. It's got a modified laser crystal that expands the optimal charging window. Makes it easier to hit that sweet spot when you're working a tough rock. You give up a little laser power, but the control it gives you is worth it. Second module, the Filter XL from Greycat. That's a filtration unit. It screens out inert materials as you extract, so you save your storage for the valuable ore. You lose a bit of raw extraction power, but what you keep is worth more. It was time to take her out to Aaron's Halo and see how this mining setup held up. Let's just say things didn't exactly go smooth. 3 rocks, 1 clean haul, and a few surprises in between. First crack at a Laranite deposit looked promising. 40% purple outline. What I didn't realize at the time was that meant it was ready to extract, not fracture. I tried to break it anyway. Rock exploded, vanished, and clipped my shields a little. Second run, 47% Laranite. Started off smooth, but I got careless and overcharged it. Rookie mistake. Rock blew, ship took damage, threw up a torque imbalance warning. Third time's a charm, lined up the laser just right, found a 44% Laranite rock, took my time, fractured clean, extracted everything. That haul made the trip worth it. Wasn't the smoothest mining session I've had, but it showed me what this little ship can handle and where I've still got things to learn. Now let's find out how she holds up when things get rough. I didn't think she'd survive more than a few hits. What happened next caught me off guard. VLRT Bounty, Mustang Alpha, and a Prospector. I lined up on the Mustang first, smaller, more maneuverable target. Attrition ones hit hard and shredded the shields faster than I expected. Then came the Prospector, bigger, heavier, tougher. Shields held better than I thought, and the Golem stayed cool under pressure. It took a little longer, but the attritions worked through it. 2 ships down, 1 ship standing. Missiles, both shots missed. Stick to lasers when you can. One more test, bunker work. Most folks overlook this part, but the amount of loot this ship hauled back, that changed how I see it. The Golem has no cargo grid, but good external storage. Plus it has 2 guns/utility racks. I brought a Cambio SRT in case I wanted to strip some hulls, do some repairs. A mining multi-tool in case I saw some mining nodes around, and a sidearm. Plus a few extra backpacks. Cleared a bunker, filled her up with all the loot, and still had room to spare. For a ship this size, that's impressive. Looking at her now, I've got more respect than I started with. She's simple, but there's a lot of honest work packed into her frame. Sometimes plain and reliable's better than fancy. And if you're like me and like having something to hold on to, I put together a factory service manual you can download. It's got my upgrades, my notes, not perfect, but practical. You can find a link down in the video description. And hey, if the Golems earned your respect, even a little, drop a comment. Tell me what you'd have picked, or what you would have done differently. Suggestions are always welcome. And if these factory service manuals are your kind of thing, subscribe. We've got more ships to tear down and test. That mining run, that fight, even that bunker test. It all started with a ship I wasn't sure about, but now I'd totally fly her again. And hey, if you want to be part of a crew that's into this kind of work, we've got a Discord and a whole org built around ship restoration, salvage, and trading. It's called Thrusters and Dust. The links are in the video description, so come hang out. Take care of yourself out there. Around here, we slow down, look close, and treat ships like they matter. The Golem proved it. I'm Dusty Star, and my hangar's always open to you.